Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, 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 ya, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, yay, nay, nay, nay. Ya, nay, nay. Sing it one more time. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay, nay. Yay, nay, nay.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you, Amy, for opening our Shabbat with this beautiful nigun. Welcome, everyone, to Congregation B'nai Israel in Tustin, California. For the first time, our women's club is leading Kabbalat Shabbat B'Yachad. Welcome Shabbat together. Amy Robinson Katz is our Ba'alat Tefillah, and we thank her for her devoted assistance and participation in this evening's services. We're coming to you from our homes on Zoom, while most of you are joining our service on the CBI stream on YouTube. So enjoy our service. Our Siddur is Lev Shalem. We begin with Yedid Nefesh on page 10.
We're going to do the English on the left-hand corner. Toss us a soul, we who are the accumulation of so many things, like the dust in our rooms.
A gasp escapes from our inner being. Toss us a soul that might go up and down our spine, like Jackson Pollock on a swing, pouring colors randomly, and suddenly there's a picture.
Toss me a soul like a stone bouncing on top of the water, sinking to the bottom of the lake, so that it has a confident heart.
Toss me a soul like sacks of sand dangling from a hot air balloon, so that it can freely fly. Toss me a soul and stay close to me, like someone putting an anchor.
Toss me a soul, I have one already, but toss me an added soul on the eve of Shabbat. Toss it like a rich man throwing change in the beggar's hat on the street.
Toss me a soul, an injection of good stuff. I who am in need of what all the well-behaved and all the silent ones want, a heavenly tossed soul like cleansing water, and cleanse us.
We continue on page 11. Psalm 95 is the first of the Kabbalat Psalms. The Psalms were first added to the service by the mystic scholars of Shabbat in the 16th century. The psalmist speaks of God's greatness and beckons us to sing joyously to Adonai. L'chu nanarnana la'Adonai naria latzor yishenu nekadama panav b'todah bizmirot naria lo ki al gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim. Come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us raise our voices in jubilation to the rock of our deliverance. Let us approach him with thanksgiving. Let us raise our voices to him in song. For the Lord is great God and a great King over all supernatural beings. In his hands are the depths of the earth, and the heights of the mountains are his. Indeed, the sea is his, for he made it. His hands formed the dry land. Come, let us prostrate ourselves and bow down. Let us bend the knee before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people that he tends, the flock under his guiding hand. Even this very day, if you would but hearken his voice, do not harden your heart as in Meribah or on the day of Massah in the wilderness. Well, your fathers tested me and they tried me, though they had seen my deeds. For 40 years I quarreled with the generation, and I said, they are the people of erring hearts. They do not know my ways. So I vowed in my anger that they would not enter my resting place.
No. Yeah. A short introduction about why I chose to read a psalm from the Hirsch Book of Psalms. Many years ago, I was visiting the wall in Jerusalem, and I stood alone looking at the wall and observing the women. I noticed they each had books while they were standing by the wall and praying. I longed to join them, but didn't read Hebrew. I felt drawn to the wall, and without even noticing, I found myself standing closer to the wall in front of a table. As I stood still gazing at the wall, a woman came and placed a stack of books right in front of me. I looked down and saw that the one on the top of the large stack was in English, and it was the Hirsch book. I quickly took the book and went with it to the wall. I didn't know how to begin. I just opened the book and I began to read and pray and cry. I felt that God had heard my silent prayer and answered me. It was just one of the many incidents that touched my heart while I was in the land. It's why Hirsch is special to me now, and one of the many reasons I stand here today. The psalm speaks to my heart and my own longing for peace in our country and in our world.
Psalm 96 by Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praises to the Lord upon all the earth. Sing praises to the Lord, bless his name, proclaim his salvation from day to day. Declare his honor among the nations, his wondrous works amongst the peoples. That the Lord is great and most evident in mighty acts. That he is to be feared above all gods. That all the gods of the peoples are gods that deny, but the Lord has made the heavens. The glory of being and majesty of power are before his countenance, fortitude and beauty and development of his sanctuary.
Give to the Lord, O families of nations. Give to the Lord honor and invincibility. Give to the Lord the honor of his name. Take up offering of homage and come into his courts. Prostrate yourselves before the Lord in the reflected glory of the sanctuary. Go before him in the travail of rebirth, you upon all the earth. Tell it among the nations, once the Lord reigns, the world of men will also be firmly established and sway no more. He will judge the people with straightness. The heavens are glad and the earth rejoices, but the sea roars and the fullness thereof. The fields exult and all that is therein. Then all the trees of the forest shall sing for joy before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. He will judge the world of man with justice and the peoples in his faithfulness. Shalom.
We move forward to Psalm 29 on page 21.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
I'm trying to find the page. Hold on. I will read most of it in English, and the last two lines will be in Hebrew. A Psalm of David. Acclaim Adonai, children of the divine. Acclaim Adonai with honor and strength. Acclaim Adonai with The honor due God's name, bow before Adonai in the splendor of the sanctuary. The voice of Adonai thunders over the waters. God, glorious thunders. Adonai over the great sea. The voice of Adonai with all its power. The voice of Adonai with all its majesty. The voice of Adonai shatters the cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon, making the trees dance like calves. The mountains of Lebanon and Sirion like wild bulls. The voice of Adonai forms flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai makes hinds calve and strips forests bare, and in God's sanctuary, all acknowledge the glory of God. Adonai was enthroned above the flood waters, enthroned Adonai is eternally sovereign. Adonai lama bulya sheva yeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz liam o yitain Adonai yuvarek et amo bashalom.
On page 23, Lecha Dodi, I will sing the chorus first in Hebrew, and in between each English translation. Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabola. Is this working?
Yes, it is. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
You're doing great.
Observe and remember were uttered as one. God's name is one and God is one, renowned with honor and deserving of praise. Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabola. Let us go out to greet Shabbat, sacred wellspring of blessing, conceived at the beginning of time, finally formed at the end of 6 days. Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabola. Rouse yourself, for your lamp is lit. Let the flame rise and glow. Awake, awake, utter songs of praise, for God's glory is revealed to your gaze. Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabola. Come in peace, crown of your spouse, surrounded by gladness and joyous shouts. Come to the faithful, the people you treasure with pride. Come, my bride, come, my bride. Lecha Dodi Lekra Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabola. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Erev Tov, and I am reading Psalms 92 and 93 on pages 27 through 29. And I'm going to do something a little bit different this evening. I'm going to start out first by reading the Hebrew of Psalm 92, just the first 3 verses. Then I'm going to give a very brief devar. Don't worry, Mimi, it will be short. And then Amy's going to finish us off with the Tzadik Yatom at the end. So, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, Tov lahodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lahagid baboker chazdecha, ve'emunatecha baleilot. And this is a song for the day of Shabbat. It is good to give thanks to Adonai and to psalm your name most high, to proclaim in the morning your kindness and your faithfulness in the nights. And I just want to say very quickly, Rabbi Spitz did a beautiful session on Psalms 92 and 93. I'm going to focus on 92, particularly on Pasuk 9, on verse 9. And if you see it, it says, Ata marom leolam Adonai. 4 very simple words. It's the center of the psalm. There are 8 verses before it and 8 after it. So it is the highlight. And the reason that there are lots of reasons given, but basically it's Ve'ata marom le'olam Adonai. And this has been translated in different ways. But what Rabbi Spitz said, which I just really loved, is that these 4 words describe the 4 different ways to experience Hashem. And Shabbat is all about experiencing Hashem, and to stop and just feel God's presence in our lives. That's the whole reason. And Ve'ata and Adonai are personal. Ve'ata is you, and Adonai is almost like a nickname. It's like Adonai. We don't have a name for Hashem, so we have all these different names, but it's personal, and that's a personal way of experiencing Hashem. Asking for help when you need it, or thanking Hashem when you see beauty and joy, and that is a very important part. And in the middle of the pasuk is marom le'olam. Le'olam is forever, and God is forever, Ein Sof, there is no end. And that's the grand scale. That's the big and universal scale. And marom is translated different ways. It can mean a height, it can mean exalted, but if you look up the synonyms for that, it can also be described as sublime, awe-inspiring, rapturous. So you have in the middle the universal aspects of Hashem, and enclosed on the side are the personal aspects, which hopefully we all experience. And I find that beautiful. So thank you to Rabbi Spitz for that. I wanted to share it with everybody. And Amy, take us away.
Tzadik Amar Ke'erez Balvanon Yizkeh Shetuli Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yanubun Beseva Teshenim Verananim Adonai Utzuri Tzuri Velo Avlata Ba.
Thank you so much, Dahlia and Amy, and the others of you who so beautifully recited Psalms. We continue on page 30 with Kaddish Shalem, the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners and those observing a yahrzeit, please join me. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma devrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalav uzman kari v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba Mavorach, le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudashah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'ambiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim olenu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, olenu v'al kol Yisrael, V'yakol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. And now I and we welcome our Women's Club presidents, Ann Mazer and Rachel Greenberg.
Thank you, Mimi. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Ann Mazer, and this is my daughter, Rachel Greenberg, and we're the new co-presidents of Women's Club. We're so glad you can join us for the Kabbalat Shabbat service tonight. We're hoping to have many more fun and interesting activities this year. We have a new CBI Women's Club Facebook group that everyone is invited to join. Just one of the many advantages of having a millennial co-president. We already have more than 60 members, and we hope that more of you CBI women will join us, even if you are not paid up members of Women's Club. We will be posting information there about all our events. We are very excited about our next event, the Chocolate Seder, which will be held on Sunday, March 21st at 3 o'clock on Zoom. In a chocolate Seder, all of the traditional foods on the Seder plate are replaced by chocolate or candy. We're making kits with everything you need for a chocolate Seder plate. The Seder plate made out of chocolate, a chocolate egg, bone, charoset, maror, and dipping chocolate matzah, and a haggadah for the chocolate Seder. This was a sample chocolate Seder plate that we're providing. You just need to add your own chocolate milk or chocolate liqueur if you prefer, and you'll be all set. Everyone is welcome to join the Zoom Seder, or you can use the kits with your family on your own. You can sign up on the Facebook page or through the CBI weekly emails. Previously, we sent out a survey to the CBI community to gauge interest in various activities and actually received a significant number of responses. Thanks to everyone who responded. There seems to be interest in cooking classes, brunch or tea, Havdalah candle making, lectures, hiking, wine tasting, movie screening, the annual challah baking event, and adopt a child for Hanukkah. We hope to be able to coordinate a number of activities that women of all ages will enjoy, first on Zoom and hopefully soon in person. We look forward to seeing and meeting all of you. If you have other ideas, please let us know. We'd like to thank everyone for joining the first Women's Club Kabbalat Shabbat service. Thanks to all of the participants who are all doing a wonderful job, especially Amy Robinson-Katz and Mimi Goldstein, who have done an amazing job and worked so hard to bring this event together. Next, we'll have our Devar with Phyllis Abrams, our new CBI president.
Thank you for the shout out, Amy. 50 days after leaving Egypt, the Jewish people heard of the 10 Commandments, and shortly after, Moses ascended Mount Sinai to receive the tablets of the 10 Commandments. When Moses left his people, he told them he would be gone for 40 days, 40 full days. Their miscalculation of time created a panic on the 39th day of Moses's absence, and consequently, the atmosphere that would lead to the construction of the golden calf. The Jewish people, assuming that Moses would not be returning, demanded that Aaron make a new leader, not a new God, and Aaron complied by constructing the golden calf. The first theme that emerges for me, oddly enough, is one of anxiety and time. I can recall as a young person sitting at home awaiting my mother's arrival because I had an event to attend at a specific time, and of course, I was dependent upon my mother for transportation. Watching the hours become the minutes and then counting the minutes became watching the sweep of the second hand on our clock. The inner turmoil that I manufactured for myself was real, and I was obliged to pace the living room while preparing my speech to my mother for her blatant disregard of my schedule. Of course, she was not late, and neither was I, but the experience always comes to mind during this parsha. However, in my defense, I did not fall to idolatry, nor did I seek a replacement player for my mother. I have learned that patience is quite a virtue, but not always manifested by young people, as our parsha recounts, not always prevalent in a stiff-necked people. The Jewish people relied on Moses as their leader, but in a very brief span of time, because of his absence, they lost patience. They were out of Egypt for less than 2 months, and had no experience in viewing life as a process and that everything happens in its time. This lack of trust made them lose touch with reality, and fueled by fear and anxiety, their imaginations began to run wild. A group of malcontents were able to instill so much doubt about Moses's return that the members of the group chose to craft a replacement, and so the golden calf was born, not as an idol, but as a figurehead, a mere shrine to replace the missing Moses. Rabbi Halevi tries to be apologetic about the sin of the golden calf and claims that the Jewish people were not guilty of idolatry, but were only trying to worship God through something visual. Maimonides explains that idolatry is not a single step, but a process. Someone might carve a piece of stone and call it a sun god and would want to pay tribute to God as the creator of the sun. This, in turn, led them to believe that the sun was the ultimate source of strength in the universe. Treating something other than God as having ultimate significance is the very definition of idolatry. And we see in our lives how the significance of money, power, and prestige can affect our spiritual side. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the tablets and witnessed the spectacle of the golden calf, he broke the tablets ultimately to protect the people. Moses felt that the 10 Commandments were a contract between God and the Jewish people, a contract that had not yet been acknowledged by both parties, especially after breaking the tablets, and therefore he was hoping that the penalty that God was sure to invoke would be less severe towards the Jewish people. The smashing of the tablets to protect the Jewish people was the ultimate act of a dedicated leader. There was also a suggestion that the Jewish people were rebelling against the freedom envisioned by the Torah, the freedom that can only exist if people abide by certain rules. The Parsha opens by saying that you must pay a tax, and in order to pay the tax, you need to work and make a living. But you are not allowed to work as much as you want, and once a week for 24 hours, you are prohibited from working at all. There are no less than 613 commandments to observe, and this is probably not what some people regard as freedom. But as John Locke would argue, setting men or women free without rules and they do evil. Perhaps that is why so many revolutions ended up in tyranny and turned to regimes that were worse than the ones they overthrew. France became an inferno following the French Revolution and only became a democracy after Napoleon reestablished the rule of law. In England and America, freedom was rightly perceived as emanating from the rule of law. When the Mayflower came to the New World, there were 102 passengers, but only 41 were true pilgrims who had made the voyage to avoid religious persecution. Descent between the Mayflower Compact was composed of a set of rules that governed the new colony. The main function of this compact was to set a goal that colonists could create one society and work together. God holds the Jews to an extremely high standard because they have a unique responsibility in human history. The Jewish people have been given the ultimate responsibility for the world at Mount Sinai. We also learn that the fundamental idea of the Torah is that every Jew is a guarantor for every other Jew. Judaism teaches that you are either part of the problem or you are part of the solution, and that you have a legal obligation to be part of the solution. The theme of collective responsibility is repeated over and over again in the Bible and throughout Jewish history. Moses spends a lot of time back in the camp dealing with the aftermath of the golden calf. But eventually, he does go back up to the mountain and spends another 40 days and returns with the second set of tablets. This is a clear sign that God has forgiven the Jewish people. What day does Moses come back down? Yom Kippur. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Ma'ariv, led by Ellen Mirowitz, on page 39.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBorach. Baruch Adonai HaBorach Le'olam Va'ed. Uma'avir Yom U'mebihi Laila. Umavdil Ben Yon U'Vein Laila. Adonai Tzava'ot Shemo. Al Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aharabim. Ahavat Olam Bat Yisrael Hamacha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu l'madata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachvenu v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nishmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha, li'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'orech yameinu, u'vahem neged yoman v'layla. V'ahavtecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema, page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nefshecha, v'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh, asher anochi mitzavcha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinamtam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, v'lechtecha b'derech, v'shaft V'chakumecha, v'chartam la'od al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Adonai Elohechem emet. We turn to 44. U'malchuto v'ratzon Kivlu alehem, Moshe Miriam uvnei Yisrael lecha anu shira, v'simcha rabba v'amru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, noratihi lo sefer leh. I have lost my connection. Oh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe zeh, Eli ani v'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar ki v'ad Adonai et Yaakov, u'galo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, gal Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim, u'faros aleinu sukkah shalomecha, v'taknenu v'etza tova milfanecha, v'hoshienu l'ma'an shemecha, v'hagein ba'adenu, u'shmor tzeitenu, u'voenu l'chaim u'shalom, v'yata v'yad olam, u'faros aleinu sukkat shalomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Haporesu kat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 46. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod es ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam b'rit olam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, ki sheshet yamim hasa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz, u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yiнаfash. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba v'yamadi v'rachirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho beit Yisrael v'agalau v'zman karivim ru amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevarach le'olam oal me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitala shemei dekusha barichu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nehemata da'amaran bilmav v'imru amen. Silent Amidah, the top of page 47. Kaddish Shalem on page 54. Yitgadali Yitgadash Shemei Rabba v'Almadi Brachirute v'Yamlich Malchute v'Chayechon v'Yomechon v'Chayedechol Beit Yisrael v'Agalav Izman Karivim Ru Amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevarach le'olam omei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitala shemei dekudesha Richu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'almavim ru amen. Titkabal saloton uva'oton d'chol Yisrael kadam avuhon di v'shmaya v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mravav uyasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yasher Koach, Ellen. It's a special Yasher Koach because I believe this is the first time Ellen led Mariv for Shabbat, so Shachayanu, we should say Shachayanu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shachayanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu, lazman hazeh. Yes.
Toda rabba, Amy.
Now we take a moment to think of those that we might know, loved ones, friends, family, who are in need of healing of body or soul. We're going to sing a song for them, and tonight I'm especially thinking of Esther Malka Chana Bat Batya Ruth. I'm sending healing prayers to her. Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habaracha le'imoteinu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Now it's time to bless the children. Page 75 at the bottom of the page. We say to our sons, Yisimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'ke'Menashe. May you be like Ephraim and Menashe. And we say to our daughters, Yisimech Elohim ke'Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May you be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmarech. Ya'er Adonai panav elech bihunek. Yisa Adonai panav elayich v'yasem lach shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Please join me in Kiddush on page 55. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho b'yahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kadshecha yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. There's wine in there. Did you get what?
She didn't transfer you over.
I think it's time for Elenu. Page 56. Linda Kaplan-Spitz is going to lead us. She's coming.
Are you able to hear us now? Okay, great. Please turn to page 56 for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liyotzer breshit, shelo asenu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo samchel kenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamona. V'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומשה ביקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu betorato, yadata hayom, v'hashivota alevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, v'al ha'aretz, mitachat, ein od. Al kenekaveh lecha Adonai, Eloheinu lirotmeha, hera b'tiferet uzecha. And so, Adonai our God, we await you, that soon we may behold your strength revealed in full glory, sweeping away the abominations of the earth, obliterating idols, establishing in the world the sovereignty of the Almighty. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Kadisha Thomas next.
Thank you, Linda. We take this time to remember our loved ones who have passed at this season. We remember their yard sites. We also take into our hearts the names of the more than 500,000 souls that we've lost this past year due to the coronavirus. This week, our congregation remembers Frida Murray, Ruth Kramer Esposito, Irene Kempner Brinton, Robert Rosenthal, Shirley Rubens, Ellie Suzanne, Jack Goodman, Arlene Tabak Miller, Billy J. Shaner, David A. Jate, Ludwig Stern, Franklin Nathan, Marvin Cohen, Joseph Noble, Frida Lubig, Louise Sussman, Natan Dreangel, Jack Abrams, Louise Amsel, Theodore Miller, Abraham Ast, Maurice Lerman, Benjamin Arnon, Jillian Shanling, Ronnie Acton, Jack L. Davis, Israel Katz, Barry Fisher, Ray Strum, Stuart Barnett, Jenny Bregman Katz, Isaac Turnoff, Marion Stein, and Julia Ali Eblinger. May their memories always be for a blessing. And we rise to recite the Kaddish Tome on page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalma divra chirute, yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam U'Amei Maya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudsha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata v'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya oseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Funberg. To our participants whose names will be on the screen shortly, I and we deeply appreciate your devotion, knowledge, and creativity in making our Kabbalat Shabbat Bayachad the beautiful service that this is. Many of you learned new parts of the service, as you and others have done for our B'nai Israel Sisterhood and Women's Club Shabbat services for so many years. Amy Robinson Katz made all of this possible over the last several weeks and tonight. Thank you, Amy. And Rabbi Spitz, we do appreciate your unwavering support and encouragement. Now for the synagogue's announcements. Shabbat services tomorrow morning are at 10 o'clock on our stream Zoom with Rabbi Spitz and Amy Robinson Katz. We will be focusing on Refugee Shabbat. Join us tomorrow evening at 6:40 for Havdalah with our hosts, Phyllis Abrams and Stephen Littman. Monday morning Minion, Sunday morning Minion with Amy Robinson Cat starts at 9:10. And our Wednesday night Minion, also led by Amy, begins at 8:15. All of those services are on our website, and all you need to do is click and you can join. All are welcome to sign up for our Women's Club Chocolate Seder on March 21st. Doesn't that sound yummy? Register this coming week and participate in this sweet and fun event. On Tuesday at 12:30, Rabbi Spitz will be speaking with the Israeli writer Etgar Keret. Mr. Keret will be joining us live from Israel. This program is brought to us by the CBI Enrichment Fund and the Community Scholar Program. And join us for Psalm a Day with Rabbi Spitz at 9:30 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. You'll find me there. I absolutely love it. Those links are on our announcements and website also. And now Dahlia Podwell. With Shalom Aleichem on page 5.
Okay. Yes, page 5, the third paragraph where you see the Gimel. Let's join together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Ni Melech Malchei Halachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Ni Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Ni Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Ni Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We wish you Shabbat Shalom U'Varach, a blessed Shabbat filled with love, rest, smiles, joy. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach, beautiful women.
Good, that's